Good evening, everyone. So today we will be doing the organizational behavior. I'm not doing the fourth chapter. I told some of the parts I have missed in chapter number 9, and some theories I have been missed. So all the missed parts I have brought it up into one slide, and today we will be looking at that. So first, we'll move on to the next slide. Dilan. Okay, now I think this is in the chapter number 9, the managerial grid. So they will be questioning this in the online examination. So you have to clearly know what is a managerial grid and what are the like the chart and stuff. So first of all, we'll see what is a managerial grid. So it is used to evaluate the management style, leadership style. The authors are Robert Blake and Jane Morton. So yeah, okay. The author is Robert Blake and Jane Morton. So they are the people who introduced this managerial grid. So whereas managerial grid is used in order to evaluate the leadership style within an organization, or else we can call it as a management style. So which way the management is using to get the productivity out of the employees, in which strategies or what are the ways they are going to use. So this is what we are going to see in the managerial grid. So the grid consists of two dimensions. So this grid basically talks about two dimensions. So one is the concern for productions, or we can call the productivity or the results of the company, and another one is the concern for the people. So based on these two dimensions only, we are going to analyze this particular grid. So let's see the next slide. So here we go. Types, typical styles of management or leadership according to the grid. So the managerial grid, you can see now I have given the grid. So this side it talks about concern for the people. So, and other side it talks about the concern for the production. So x-axis talks about concern for production and y-axis talks about the concern of people. So now what we are going to see, so within these two dimensions, how the leadership styles are working. That means how the management is taking care of the two. That means concern of the people and concern of the production. Okay, now there are few points. Now if you see the axis of concern of people, it says low and high. Concern for production, low, high. So in this middle you can find some points, that is 1.1. So the point where it's 1.1, 9.1, 1.9, 9.9 and 5.5. So I will be explaining what it means. Now if you take the 1.1, so if you take the two dimensions, what it says, concern for the production axis shows a low point, that is with the 1, and concern for people is also 1, that is, so that is also in a low point. So concern for people, concern for production, both are low in an organization. Now for example, if you take an organization, what this organization is doing is employee concern, like concern that they are giving for the employee is also very low, and concern what they are giving for the production is also very low. So this type of organization or this type of managerial or leadership style we called as impoverished management, impoverished leadership. We can call as impoverished management or impoverished leadership. And minimum requirements for the task. So if like in your online examinations they might ask what is impoverished management, and they might give you few options. So forget all the options, just remember impoverished means, if you all are having notebook, just note it down. Impoverished management means low concern for people, low concern for production. So that organization has nothing, they don't have the productivity, as well as they don't concern about the employees as well. So these time a kind of management we tell it as impoverished. Okay, so that is the first one. And we move on to the next one, that is 1.9, that is the country club. So if you see that axis is, it talks about concern for people is high, okay, and concern for production is low. So this axis concern for production is 1 and concern for people is at a 9. So it is 1.9. So 1.9, what are they saying? Here, this particular organization will be giving more concern to the employees and they will not strict on the task. So that what happens is more flexibility leads to now taking over advantage of the management. So when they are taking, employees are taking over advantage of the management, what happening is productivity is coming low. So this kind of management style we called as a country club style. So this, so in the chart it says high concern on people and interpersonal relationships. So this kind of organization only focuses on the employee welfare, what the employee wishes, employees flexibility, more concern about the employee, and they are leaving the productivity. So we called it as a country club. So note down, country club means high production, sorry, high concentration for people and low concentration for production. That means high concern about the people and low concern about the production. So these kind of organization also won't work up, because always why employees are there to, in order to boost up the productivity. If employees are there and no productivity, so why the organization should exist? So there is a question mark. So this is also not a good style of management. Next one, we move on to 9.1. So 9, I'll, in the last I will talk about the 5.5. So okay, it's okay, I'll talk about the 5.5. So 5.5 is something, it, in this particular axis of concern for production also it goes for 5, concern for people also it goes for 5. So it says middle of the road, medium level of focus on relationships and focus on the task satisfactorily. That means equally this particular organization is balancing both. That means they are concentrating on the organization's productivity as well as the employees of the organization. So they are maintaining a middle range. This is what it talks about the management. So middle of the road management is equal concern to production and equal concern to people. After that, produce or perish. So produce or perish, it talks about the minimum sorry, the minimum respect for people, high requirements for the task. So the minimum respect for people, high requirement for the task means, here what they are telling, if you take 9.9, always they are talking or concerned about the productivity. They are not concerning about the people. Now for example, you push the employees, you bring them, you always get work from them, like you take the maximum out of them and get the productivity. At last one, what will happen, it will perish means at a long run your organization won't be stabilized, because organization will face a high turnover of employees because they are not satisfied with their work and work overload. And when they are so much frustrated and stressed out, they will leave out of the company, so that you will be losing your loyal employees and stuff. So this is also not a good practice of management. Also you have to concern about the people. So produce or perish, it talks about always giving more important for productivity, not for the people, so which is very bad to the organization. And next one is we tell as the team. So highest concern of people relationship and also highest concern of the task. So this type of organization also gives concern about the organization as well as the people. That means employee of the organization is also vital for them, productivity of the organization is also vital for them. So this type of organizations will have a good management where they are managing as a team in order to get the productivity out of that management or leadership style. So these are the 5 basic leadership or management styles which is called as the managerial grid. So if you all have any doubts, you can ask, or else I can move to the next slide. Sorry, my voice is not clear today, so I'm sorry about it. So if you all have any doubts, you can ask. Dilan, unmute pannike, just ask, are they okay or shall I move?
Student, move பண்ணலாமா பரிமளா?
Okay, miss. Okay, miss.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, miss. Yeah, sure.
So Mintzberg management roles. So Mintzberg management roles, I think I gave some of you all to do as a homework. I don't know whether you all did. So I will be breaking it into few points and I will be explaining. So Mintzberg managerial roles. It talks about Henry Mintzberg is a management expert, author, and academic. So he is the one who introduced these Mintzberg managerial roles. So Mintzberg recommends breaking down management roles, responsibilities, and organization the workplace to simplify complex concepts. This helps to organize companies into a more efficient culture, and it also each member to develop their own skills. So what Mintzberg is recommending is like he is telling to divide the management roles. So he is telling if you divide the management roles and give the particular task to the people who are having that skills in a natural way or inborn characteristics are like that, so that particular person can much effectively do that particular work. So if a management is thinking and designing and doing this kind of a thing, it will be beneficial for the management. So we'll move on. Next slide, please. So right, so this is the Mintzberg managerial roles. So Mintzberg management inside Strange World Organizations in 1990s. He has figured out 10 roles and he has categorized the 10 roles into different categories. So if you see, he has categorized into 3. Can you remember in a slide I just drawed up a human photo and told brain is from brain is from decisional, informational is from communication, that mouth picture, and interpersonal is from the heart. So if you remember all these 3, you can easily remember the categorization. So one is interpersonal, one is informational, and the decisional. So under interpersonal, if you see, interpersonal relationship you maintain, this kind of roles are the figurehead people, the leader, and the liaison. So these people are the people who are having good interpersonal relationships. So informational is monitor, disseminator, spokesperson, and decisional you come up to entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. So we'll move to the next slide. So interpersonal category. So in the interpersonal category, you can see, so managerial roles in this category involve providing information and ideas. So this particular category is coming on providing information and ideas through the interpersonal relationships. So figurehead, as a manager, you have social, ceremonial, and legal responsibilities. You are expected to be a source of inspiration. People look up to you as a person with authority as a figurehead. So this kind of people, how you are going to work with other people is you are the head, you are the leader, you are the manager, where you have a whole set of responsibilities and you take up all ceremonial and social activities within yourself, and you be an inspiration for other people, where in as you as the inspiration, other people will follow you and work according to that. So you have got authority, you have got a designation, and you have got a power. So you are becoming a leader, and this is how a figurehead person will be. Next one is the leader. So this is where you provide leadership for your team, your department, perhaps your entire organization, and it's where you manage the performance and responsibility of everyone in the group. So as a leader, you may be a team lead, you may be a department leader. So this kind of leadership attitudes should be there in order to take your subordinates or the workers working under to you in a right track. So these are the leadership styles. And liaison. So liaison is something managers must communicate with internal and external contacts. You need to able to network effectively on behalf of your organization. So liaison is something a characteristics which some high authorities or management people have. That means you have to have a better communication in order to negotiate things. Now if you all are running a business, you have vendors, you have suppliers, you have your customers, you have your competitors, you have your stakeholders, you have your shareholders, and like that, like your loan providers, many of the stakeholders are there. So there is a way how you want to communicate with each other. So this category of people, the liaison people, just don't they do understand how to communicate with each other and make things in a right track. So okay, so this is the type of liaison. And next, so next category is the informational category. So managerial role in this category involve processing information. So processing of information, like all the information what you are gathering is done in a process in this particular category. So monitor. Who is a monitor? In this role, you regularly seek out information related to your organization and industry, looking relevant changes in the environment. You also monitor your team in terms of both productivity and their well-being. So as a monitor, what you do is you monitor what is happening internally within your organization, externally within your organization. Internally, when you're monitoring, you can monitor how your work task is being done and how your employees are working and what are the effort they are making and what is your productivity and how you're contributing to the company, stuffs like that. External means, so external, new, what are the new things you can do up and what are the new opportunities you find within the external environment, finding within the all these you're finding within the external environment. So what a monitor is he observes what is happening internally and externally and gathering those information, and he is trying out to like support you or assist you like to by adapting to the changes, so in order to improve your productivity. So disseminator. Who is a disseminator? This is where you communicate potentially useful information to your colleagues and your teams. So disseminator is someone who communicates the important matters. That means what is relevant to tell. You don't tell all the things. What is relevant and what is going to give you a productive or efficient work, you communicate in that manner. You discuss about your potential informations which will be beneficial to the organization. So next one is the spokesperson. Managers represent and speak for their organization. In this role, you are responsible for transmitting information about your organization and its goals to the people outside it. So here what you are doing is, as a spokesperson, you are the representative or a responsible person who is transferring the information outside the organization. So that's what it says. You are responsible for transmitting information about your organization and its goals to outside. That means you being a person, now supplier or the loan provider is an external party, or your customer or your competitor is an external party. So to the external party actually doesn't know what is happening in the organization. So to make them clear, what the spokesperson will do is, this category of people will communicate with the external people who are external stakeholders, and they will be having a good communication to get done the operations in a smooth manner. So this is how informational category works. So next. So next is the decisional category. So decisional category is something the managerial roles in this category involve using information. So decisional category is something it says about how you are taking decisions and using the information which you have got. So here we see entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. So here we see as a manager, you create control within the organization. This means solving problems, generating new ideas, and implementing them. So entrepreneur is something who is working on his own idea with this innovative thinking, which is out of the box, and have problem solving skills, has good analytical skills, and coming up with new generating ideas, and whatever the initiatives taken is by the entrepreneur in an organization in a decisional category. So these are the people who come forward with new several ideas which will be benefiting the organization. And the next one is the disturbance handler. So when an organization or team hits an unexpected roadblock, it's the manager who must take charge. You need to help mediate disputes with it. So they are saying now circumstance or problems come. Something is blocking your vision. That means a roadblock, which is meaning something is blocking your vision. It's not making to have. So what the manager or the higher authorities can do is this kind of people handles the disturbance. That means they handle the disturbance, how what is coming from the external or the internal, and they are trying to cope up with the change, and they are coming up with new initiatives, ideas to avoid the problems or disputes, and they take charge of the roadblocks, and they make sure the organization is moving towards its vision. So this is the people who is a disturbance handler. A disturbance handler is always a courageous person who helps and supports the team whenever the organization or the team members are falling down. So next one is the resource handler, resource allocator. You also need to determine where organizational resources are best applied. This involves allocating funding as well as assignment staffs and other resources. So you have human resource, you have physical resource, and you have capital resource. So all the resources, how you are going to manage your financial, your employees, this kind of people knows, and they know and they identify how these resources can be fully utilized. So this is how a resource allocator works up. And next one is the negotiator. So negotiator is a person you may be needing taking part and direct important negotiations within your team, department, or organization. So here they are talking about something, a negotiator. So a negotiator is a person who is taking part in the important negotiation. Now for example, okay, you have a negotiation with your CEO, or you have a negotiation with your competitor, you have a negotiation with your supplier, you have a negotiation with your shareholder, maybe ordinary shareholder or preference shareholder. So if you're coming up with certain negotiations, who is going to communicate without any problem to both the parties? So these people are called as negotiators. So all these categories falling up to decisional category. So Mintzberg decisional, sorry, management roles always consist of three categories: interpersonal, informational, and decisional categories. Under that we have these few sub points under decisional category and informational and interpersonal. So you have to remember. So this also will be questioned in your online examination. So hope this is clear. I will be moving to the next slide. Okay, first we saw what is a first we saw what is a managerial grade. In that we saw what are the types and what are the management styles. After that we saw Mintzberg managerial roles. So that is the second part. And this is the third part. This is the leadership style. So leadership styles. So here we are going to see leadership style is a leader's method of providing direction, implementing plans, motivating people. So what a leadership style is, so how a leader is giving direction to their followers, and how they are going to implement the sketched plans, and how they are going to motivate the people. Various authors have proposed identifying many different leadership styles as exhibited by readers in political, business, and other fields. So, as leaders in many fields, there are many several leaders. Maybe politics, maybe industry, maybe education, maybe business. So in lots of fields leaders are there. So now few categorization are there based on the leadership styles. So when the leaderships, as you develop leadership skills, you are likely to use different process and methods to achieve your employees objective and meet the needs of the employees who report to you. To be an effective manager, you should have several different leadership styles at a given time. So, as a manager or a reader, you have to have certain leadership styles. So, one manager can be having all the four styles. Some might have more in one frequency, and other might have in less. So, as a leader, we'll see in which category you fall into a major category. That means you may be democratic. Let's say, for example, you may be autocratic to a certain extent, democratic to a certain extent. If your percentage is more on autocratic, so we call you as an autocratic leader. So there are several leadership styles which is discussed, but I have take or chosen these four styles because this is very vitally used among the leadership styles. So first we will be seeing who is the autocratic leader. Next slide please. Yeah, autocratic leader. Autocratic leaders, also known as authoritarian leaders, generally have the power, authority, and responsibility in an organization. There is rarely input decision making on the part of team of group members. Instead, team members are tasked with implementing leaders' decisions and choices. So here basically they are saying even though the followers are there, all the major decisions are, all the power or the responsibility and authority lies within the leader himself only, not to the followers. That's what they are trying to say. This type of leadership is very rigid, but in situations that demand structure, quick decision making, close supervision, it can be beneficial to the organization. There are many pitfalls. The organization cannot function without the leader. Communication may be flawed or lacking, and workers may be polarized. So autocratic leader is someone who takes decisions on his own. That means he don't rely on other people much, or the followers, or his employees. This type of leadership, always they take their own decisions, like whatever they decide they will be doing. They won't have a much discussion. Like if I am the leader, what I say my followers have to do. I'm not going to listen about their opinion or their view. uh Okay, next. So, charismatic leader. Charismatic leader can be transformed attitudes and beliefs in employees and others. She has the power to influence and inspire people, and goals of the organization generally reflect in her vision. That means this type of leadership, they won't like force anyone to follow them, but they will become an inspiration. Like they will transform, and like their attitude will influence other people. Because of their attitude, other people will be changing to their beliefs, and all other people will working on his or her vision. As the name suggests, this type of leader is charismatic and can affect great change as well as inspire people. On the flip side, as with autocratic leaders, the organization may become overly dependent on the leader. Other risks include charismatic leader ignoring the leads or ideas of employees, being unable or unwilling to work from their mistakes. So charismatic leadership is something you have to remember. So autocratic if you have the rough note, you just note it down. Autocratic leader is someone who takes decisions on their own. They don't much bother about other people or their followers. They are the major people who are having the authority and power, and they are very influential people who take the major decision. These are the autocratic people. Charismatic people is somewhat they don't possess or force their followers to do that and this. They will act on their own by seeing their attitude and by seeing their beliefs. Other people look at that and they become influenced because they are inspired by the leader. So this type of leadership is called charismatic leadership. Charismatic leadership is something you do out of admiration. You admire the leader and you get influence out of it and you follow them. Next. So next one is democratic leadership. So democratic leadership is something also known as participative leadership. In case of democratic leadership, all the boss group members are able to participate in decision making process. Democratic leaders emphasize equality and encourage discussion and flow of ideas. While democratic tends to be an effective leadership style and has a number of benefits, it encourages creativity, emphasizes fairness, and values intelligence and honesty. There are some potential drawbacks. So, okay, now I will explain. They have also talked about the drawbacks also in that particular leadership. So I will tell you what is the good side of democratic leadership. So good side of the democratic leadership is the leader also leaves or allows the followers to follow their own ideas, their own opinion as well. That they don't need to stick only to the leader. Now, if I am the leader, I will ask my followers, I'm going to take this particular decision. Are you all okay with it? Can you tell me some of your suggestions? I'm having a discussion point and then taking a decision. I give a chance for my followers or the employees as well. So this kind of leadership is called democratic leadership. So autocratic means you take something decision on your own. Charismatic, you be set an example and inspire others so that they follow. Democratic means you discuss with other people and give space to other people also to their viewpoints. So these are the democratic styles, and the drawbacks of it is like they are saying could create communication problems and failures. Why communication problems? Because all if they are starting to talk, finally you can't end up with one decision. So typically, well, more people are there, like your contributions won't be valued, other one will be valued. So these some kind of conflicts may occur. Like other people will be disappointed and the decision making will be extended or getting delayed. So these are the bad side of it. So democratic leadership is something you allow other people also to take part in the decision. So next. So laissez-faire leadership. So employees with laissez-faire leaders have a degree of autonomy. Leaders maintain hands-off approach to managing workers, providing with them tools they need to do their job without being directly involved in decision-making process. Daily tasks and responsibilities. However, these leaders still take responsibility for the company's decisions, even though the power to make decisions rests in the hands of employees. This leadership style can be successful when employees are skilled in nature of work and motivated to succeed and to do their own job as well. Workers enjoy independence, which may be appealing to many employees. This type of leadership have consequences when the leader is uninvolved, a task passive approach to working with employees who lead to more guidance. It also lead to lack of unity, cohesion in a group or team, and projects may fail out of track. Well, strong insight. So laissez-faire leadership is something you just remember. This kind of leaders, they don't much involve in the project or a task or whatever they are doing, whatever their vision is. Like if for example, imagine I am the leader, I am not involving in what you all are doing, I'm just leaving it to you all. So whatever you do, I'm just showing a guide. Yeah, you have to do this, these are the resources, you have to do this and finish. I won't be always with you all, I leave the rest of the part with you. So when I'm leaving it to you, by nature, if you all are skilled and talented employees, when you are having the ability to work on your own, then that situation, this type of leadership will work. If I'm confident, my employees are very skilled, very motivated, very enthusiastic. So this kind of leadership will work because the employees will feel so independent and they will be much loyal to their leader, like thinking, oh, my leader is trusting me so much, so I have to work more. So this is always applicable and a successful one if the employees are well talented, well skilled, well organized, well talented, and they are having skills of their own by nature. So if this kind of leadership, so laissez-faire leadership is something I pass the ball to my followers, I don't take much responsibility, they only will do everything. So this may have some negativities also. Now if my workers are not willingly working, if I am not boosting them up, if I am not guiding them, they will be getting deviated and distracted. So end of the day, my project might be a failure. So laissez-faire leadership is something you give whole responsibility, or you give much space for them to decide on their own. So these are the four kinds of leadership: autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, charismatic. Autocratic is someone who takes a decision on their own. Democratic is someone who discuss with the followers. Charismatic is someone who act as a good behavior and with a good attitude and become an inspiration and guide others. Laissez-faire is something leave all to the followers. These are the four main types of leadership. Okay. So next we will move to the next part. So that is leadership style is over. So this is another subtopic which is called as a team development stages. So what we call a team development stage. So these are the stage how a team will be developed. So this is also question in your exam. So first, the process of learning to work together effectively is known as team development. Research has shown that teams through definitive stages during development. Tuckman, an educational psychologist, identify five-stage development process that most teams follow to become high performing. He called these stages as forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Team progress through stages is shown as the following diagram. Okay, when you were in the class for my first OB class, I think you all are new and you all are strangers to each other. So first, when I form as a group, I think you can remember I give you all classroom activities. When I form as a group, many unknown people will be there. But when I ask you all to perform a certain topic as a group, you will be coming and performing the presentation. So how that is happening? You all just think about yourself as a student. You are doing the classroom activity. Just imagine in that situation how you felt for the first time when you had no idea about no one in the classroom. So think that in mind, I will be explaining. So next slide, please. So forming stage. The forming stage involves a period of orientation and getting acquired. Uncertainty is high during this stage, and people are looking for leadership authority. A member who asserts authority is knowledgeable, may be looked into take control. team members are asking questions such as what does the team offer me, what is expected of me, what will I fit. Most interactions are social as members to get. So in the forming stage, when you are doing the group, you will think who are the group members, who is she, who is he, how that person will be, how this person will be. Okay, which topic I have to do, will they ask me to do, or will they do, or how it will, who is going to talk the first title, so who is going to present, who is going to write. Like this you will have several questions within yourself because you all are not familiar with the task and you are not familiar with the people. So at the forming stage, slightly you get introduced to each other and get to know what you are going to do. That is all you will do in the forming stage. You will get to know, like it's sort of ice breaking. You break ice and try to move with others and get to know who is she, who is the person sitting next to me, so who, how can I contribute to this particular group, so what are they expecting out of me. So all these questions will be in the forming stage. So next, as a team, your next stage is storming stage. So storming stage is something, it is the most difficult and critical stage to pass through. So in the team building, it's, they are saying it is a critical stage to pass through. Why they are saying it? Because it is period of marked by conflict and competition as individual personalities emerge. Now for example, you all are doing the group activity. Some questions or some part of the presentation you will like to do because you might be the expert of it, but someone would have got that topic. So you will feel, yo, if it is me, I would have explained it properly. See how she is explaining, how he is explaining, it's worst. What is this? Because your personality is different from that particular person's personality. Their skill is different from your skills. So here, when you are identifying yourself with the other person, you will have some differentiation. So due to that differentiation, some competition sort of thing, some conflict sort of thing may be occurring in a team group, teamwork. So team performance may actually decrease in this stage because energy is put into unproductive activities. So what are the unproductive activities? Judging other people. She won't perform, she won't do, he won't do, I will do better, he doesn't know, his opinion is wrong. Because you all are not familiar with each other, to get to know and get along with others takes some time. Members may disagree on team goals, and subgroups, cliques may form around strong personalities of agreement. To get through this stage, members must work to overcome obstacles, to accept individual differences, and to work through conflicting ideas on teams and goals. Teams can be bogged out at this stage. Failure to address conflicts may be result in long-term problems. So here what they are saying is, as a team, when you work, some personalities you won't like, some personalities you won't adaptable, and you won't be flexible with each other. So if you're not trying to adapt, or if you're not trying to understand each other in this particular stage, if you are reluctant and if you are stagnant, and that means if you are like completely fallen into this stage and stuck into this stage, you can't move further. Your team won't perform well because all are different personalities, all have different perspectives and different skills. If you identify that and understand that, only you won't like categorize people into good or bad, can or can't. You won't do that. So in the storming stage, it's okay to identify the difference, but at a point you have to understand, if you don't cope up or adjust with them and work unity as a team, your team end of the day will be a failure one. So in the storming stage, you should understand. Now the you all may be working one day, or you are maybe doing group works, you are in classrooms, your lecturer might give group works. So you should not take a group work as a group work. You have to take those things as your own responsibility, being as a team member, and you have to cope up with every team member. So in the storming stage, conflicts may occur, problems may come, indifferences may be feeling, but you should address it properly. After the storming stage, we'll move to the next stage. Next slide. Okay. Next one is the norming stage. Now, if you see this picture, if you see the previous picture, it shows like defending each other. That means you are so defensive. Now, see the norming stage. It says if teams get through the storming stage, conflict is resolved and some degree of unity emerges. That means after the storming, when you understand each other, you be resolved. You understand, okay, this person is like this. Okay, I'm okay with it to work with him also. In the storming stage, consensus develop around the leader or leaders are individual members. Interpersonal differences begin to resolve and sense of cohesion and unity emerges. That means cohesion. That means you have a feeling of togetherness. You feel to work together and you feel you all are one. Team performance increase during this stage as members learn to cooperate and begin to focus on team goals. Now, in the norming stage, you understand each other and leave your individuality, your ego and stuff, and thinking you as a team. Now you think, yeah, if someone, I have noticed in my classroom, if one of your team member is struggling to do the presentation, one of your team members will come and help. No, this way, like they will be boosting up, because end of the day what they are thinking, no, my team member has to win, our team has to win. So when you're comparing with other teams, this is your team, so you leave your individuality there. So this is something, however, harmony and precautious, and if disagreements re-emerge, the team plan sign back to storming. So in the norming stage, as this picture represents, when someone is falling, you take them up, pick up, and move as a successful team. So this is the norming stage. Next one. Next one is the performing stage. So in the performing stage, what you do, uh, consciousness and cooperation have been well established and team is matured, organized and well functioning. There is a clear stable structure and members are committed to the mission. Problems and conflicts still emerge, but they are dealt constructively. Okay, the team is focused on problem solving and meeting team goals. So in the performing stage, after you come up with all stage, now your stage is something you all are going to perform, you all are going to do the presentation. Now you five people are going to come to my class and do the presentation as a team, as a group. So this is what the performing stage is. You leave all the problems or conflicts in one side and come and perform as a team. So this is the performing stage. So next, final stage. So this is the adjourning stage. So adjourning stage is most of the team goals have been accomplished. That means you have completed. So wrapping up final task and documenting the efforts as resulted. So now here what you do is you have completed, you have succeed. So you're going to leave the team or you're going to dissolve the team. As the workload is diminished, individual members may reassign to other teams and team disbands. So as I told you, so when you all are finishing a team, as when you all are disturbing, sorry, I'm sorry. When you are disbanding the team, what you will be doing is like you will be like doing all the documentation work and all the efforts what you have done, you will be producing it as a document and you will be leaving the team. Now for example, for one class, one team will be doing one topic, other class I will dissolve it and create a new team. So this is how it happens. So it says there may be regret as team ends, so a ceremonial acknowledgement of work and success of team can be helpful. If team is standing committee with an ongoing responsibility, members may be replaced by new people and team go back to forming or norming stage and repeat the development process. Here what they are saying, if you all are working as a one team and you all are dissolving and you're coming together as another team, means same process will be occurring. So this is how things will be working. So adjourning stage is something you finish everything and dissolve the team and you move to your next phase. So this is the adjourning stage. So next slide. Thank you. If you all have any questions, you all can raise it up.
Any question? Parimala, any question? Anisha?
No, sir. No, miss.
No, Miss.
Aravind? Richard? Dhanushika, Umar?
If they are having no questions, we can leave the meeting.
Yes. So better leave me.
Okay,
Because
thank
no one
you.
has questions.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, miss.
Thank
Stay
you, Miss.
safe,
Bye.
miss. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Anita.
Parimala, bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, Anita.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, students.
Thank you.